Hello and welcome to ThePapare.com, where we discuss about the Sri Lanka versus England Test series. It started off with a batting collapse and ended off with another batting collapse. England won their sixth consecutive Test match in Sri Lanka, and they bagged the series 2-0. So a disappointing end to Sri Lanka's series in Galle. So to discuss everything related to the England Test series, I have Farveez Maharoof and Russel Arnold with me again. Russell, once again, we didn't expect that to end on day 4.
Yeah, I expected it to end on the fourth day, especially when we came on the morning looking forward to a great day's cricket because Sri Lanka did have to make the play because they have to go on and win the match. And as long as England held on and held on, they would have been in a good position. But Sri Lanka, yes, in their haste, totally lost their way. The options were so wrong, the panic, everything set in. So you would have thought that they would have learned from their mistakes of few test matches where they've only batted one inning, they've been playing in patches, and knowing that you've done well or you played pretty well on the first 3 days, that you needed to have another good day. But that was not the case. Lots of very disappointing dismissals and the approach, everything. So, yeah, it was a shocker.
Maha, as Russell said, they played well in patches, but good days. We had 3 good days, but how do you kind of explain that kind of a batting performance? What sort of a mindset did they come into the game? What's your opinion on that?
I reckon on the first innings when the wicket was playing solid, the wicket was new and good for batting. The batsmen applied themselves, took time, and gathered a decent first innings score. But come the second innings, the main problem what I saw was that no one trusted their defense. I mean, going for too many shots. I mean, if you take one or two batsmen, getting caught at short leg, even those with hard hands, not playing with soft hands, and rest of them all going for big shots. That showed, the batters didn't really, had the confidence of defending. And if you take a look how Dom Sibley batted. I mean, 3 innings he failed, and the fourth innings, I mean, it was an application. It was a mindset. Mentally you got to be tough when the tough gets going. So whereas our guys were, trying to be, too aggressive. No one tried to play that innings where, that ugly innings where you play at least, 100 balls to score 20, 25, 20, 30 runs just to hang in there so that the batsman from the other side knows that, there's a solid batter who's not going to give a wicket away. But whereas, we went through a situation in the second innings where, too many shots were played in no time actually. I mean, no one actually got themselves in. So, as Russell mentioned correctly, I mean, we are not going to win test matches by playing well in patches. You need to sustain pressure for a longer time, and you just got to, put your heart and soul in it. Where I just saw some very pathetic performance, especially in the second inning.
Russell, do you think it's because of lack of test match cricket? We came in after the LPL, played in South Africa. Some of players like Oshad Fernando had said he has never played in Galle. So, is it a lack of test match cricket, or is there a wider problem to this downhill? We've lost 4 games in a row now.
Yes, we have, but everyone's in the same boat. Dom Sibley hasn't played a test match in Galle before, neither has he played a match in the subcontinent. But the determination was there. The way we bowled to him was also, we were not proactive. We needed to dangle a carrot. So lots of things were amiss. We can give whatever excuse that we do want at this stage. We can talk about bubbles. We can talk about lack of cricket. We can talk about anything and come up with so many excuses. But at the end of the day, that's the way it is. We are going to have to move on. We're going to have to play more cricket. We're going to have to adjust and get used to what's happening around us at this stage. Either we do that and apply ourselves and dig deeper, or we sit and give plenty of excuses and keep falling behind and being situations.
Farveez, we've spoken about where we went wrong, but let's talk about some of the positives. Lasith Tambuldenia, 10 wickets in the game, 7 in the first innings, third in the second innings, despite England losing only 4 wickets, and even scored runs in the second innings after the team was 78 for 8.
Absolutely, definitely the shining star of the second Test match. I thought he applied himself very well with the bat, and with the ball, we know what he is capable of, and he just did that. I mean, 10 wickets for a player who's not even played 10 Test matches. I think is a tremendous achievement, and overall, I thought he was one big performer the entire tournament, and he was very unlucky not to get a opportunity in South Africa. But that's a hall of a good cricket. I mean, when someone gets an opportunity, got to make use of it and work hard towards getting your place cemented in the team. So that's exactly what Lassie did. I'm very happy for him. But overall, as I said, Damith, losing 2-0 in those conditions, is very hard one to take.
Russell, where do you see us going forward from this? Yes, we have the West Indies tour coming up, but these are hard pill to swallow.
It certainly is. We have to bounce back, and we can look at our system. We got so many things. Yes, everything has a problem, issues around, but how the players go there and do their thing. There's no doubt about it that whatever happened, whatever is going on, the players can play a lot better, and we can do so many better as well. So it's all about looking at yourself and trying to perform better. Now, I just want to touch a bit on a different angle. I think we need to look at our personnel as well. Yes, there are players who have done really well for Sri Lanka, but we need to look to the future, try and give that experience to the others if you are not getting the desired results we want. Now, highlight one thing, Damith. It probably isn't exactly relevant to your question, but Sri Lankan bowlers versus England's top 6 in this Test series. Lasith Tambul has 12.97. His average is 24.7. The rest 430. Let's just not even talk about that average. So top 6 is where you want to be making inroads, and that's where you kill the opposition. So we played Dilruwan Pereira, who's been brilliant, and we're playing him for his experience. But if it's this type of results, it's not the first time, and there's no control. I think Sri Lanka really have to make strong decisions and move forward, and probably give those games to a youngster, so that we might have a stronger team going forward. Now, Ambul Denia did really well, and there's a lot to like about him. The way he does his thing, his loop, he can be a handful, and I think he can get a lot better. But I do think he's got to work on his fitness. Why I say that is, even in bowling conditions, you still have to bowl. You need a lot of energy, and sometimes you need to turn that ball really hard. Even if you're tossing it up, you've got to put energy into it, and it takes its toll. But if you're just putting the ball there, you're not going to get too much results. If not, let's say bowlers like me should have 100 wickets. So that's not how it works. If you look at even in in spinning conditions, it's only the best spinners in the world that are getting wickets there. That's why it's a lot more disappointing that Jack Leach and Dom Bess were given wickets in such an easy manner. Not a lot of experience, and to me, not a lot of control and quality either. So that's another thing where we really, if you're looking deeper, it is. Now, Root versus Ambul Denia. I want to highlight Root was the problem, but did a bowler control him? 200 runs in 247 balls for no wickets. So if you are taking that step to the next level, right, pick up wickets, you got to be able to put him under pressure, not allow 4 runs. That those numbers means Root has been scoring at 5 and over against Ambul Denia. This is not actually a criticism. He's a young bowler. He's got what it takes, so he's got to pick up on his energy levels and fitness levels, so he can bowl with a lot of energy for longer spells, not 4-5 overs. He's one to try and at least do it. If we took Angelo Matthews, Sri Lanka's best player, that first innings who scored 110, James Anderson had bowled 20 overs at a particular stage, and Angelo Matthews had faced 60 balls of that. That's 10 of those overs. Scored only 14 and 3 boundaries. So you see, even if Jimmy Anderson was not getting the wicket, he still was keeping Angelo Matthews in check and keeping him under pressure the way he was bowling. So that's what will make us better. And these are things that we shouldn't ignore. Yes, Abdul Deni picked up 10 wickets in the game, but there's a lot of areas that he can improve. And if he can do that, he'll be a world beater. He's got age on his side and everything on his side.
Maha, what do you reckon with all Russell said? Moving on from some of the personal, do you think Sri Lanka cricket should make some of those hard, tough decisions going forward?
Definitely, I think it's high time that some of the decisions has to be made. I mean, in my own opinion, there are a few that they have to make, but let's wait and see. I mean, I think got about a month before the team to West Indies depart, so I'm pretty sure that between now and then there will be some tough calls made, and hopefully, we'll have a policy. I mean, I started this series by saying, I mean, a good example was Visha Fernando. I mean, no explanation was given, and neither he was, released from the bubble. So basically, he taken 5 wickets in Johannesburg and not good enough to play the 2 Test matches. So those are the things that don't make any sense. I mean, if you have an injury or if you have any bad form, yeah, correctly, so you can, leave any player out. But player who has performed so well, but all of a sudden, you persist with someone else. It's just I don't see why it's been happening. So I mean, those are not only things that have to be addressed. There are so many. So between now and before the West Indies tour, we start the journey. I think we got to look at hard of ourselves, look at the mirror, and see where you can head. I mean, if you take a look at the way we fought, especially in the second innings of the Galle Test match. We did so well and we gave so much praise, and all of a sudden on second Test match you do well in the first 3 days, as you mentioned, and all of the way you crumble to be bowled out in 36 overs is just not on, especially in Test cricket. So overall, we've been speaking about this for a long time. I mean, we don't see players learning from these mistakes and moving on. That's the biggest disappointment. Anyone could do mistakes, but whoever learns from that mistake and never repeats that is the most successful one. But in our case, there are so many players, repeating the same mistake, which is not good enough at this level.
Russell, we've spoken about this whole transition phase. Now we need to move on from that word and we need to move on from there. So, for the fans, what can you say? They have been very disappointed. Not only the fans, everyone involved with Sri Lankan cricket, because they have only been doing well in patches. So, what's your message to the fans? Should they be patient for further?
Well, rightly disappointed, because even we are disappointed at what's happening. But you got to understand that it is a sport. At various stages, we will make mistakes. More of you want to be successful. You got to do things in the right manner, and at the right time. You must be in a position to make those right decisions, especially at home. We're not talking too deep into South Africa because it's not our conditions, and it's very unfair to expect us to be world beaters. If we can, well and good. But in home conditions, we do expect a lot more knowledge to be shown, or know-how, how to handle such conditions, how to bowl, what shots are option, and even those shots to be well. I don't Sri Lankan players now. Joe Root and Englishman, most of them sweep shots so well from mid wicket to fine, and then even on the offside, the reverse sweep. But Sri Lankan batsmen do play it, but they're not the best sweepers. When you down reverse sweep, when it's turning and bouncing, you're never in control. So we must look to play these shots, practice them a lot more and play it better, because these are going to be required. England is that, even for the short of, and when they're sweeping, you can see them roll out and hitting the ball into the ground. Many times I highlighted on when Joe Root is, each time he plays a sweep, he's damaging the pitch because the bat comes from high to low and he's always hitting it down. So those are the extra or the finer things that they did well, and we need to do that. And if we have different shots that are our go-to shots, we must stick to that, not just try and be someone and play shots that we are not used to. Sri Lankan batsmen played quite a few risky shots. Now Maha touched on the fact that some were caught at short leg. Turning and bouncing out of the rough, if I'm bowling or you're bowling, that's what you want the batsman to do. Not to turn you off the front foot, because you're not in control of it. So basically, you're playing a risky shot. That's why you got to use your feet, get to it, smother it, and turn it around, or get the ball to change his line and length. So these are tactical stuff that we do. So are we taking for granted that we have subcontinent players should have spinners playing spin, neglecting the finer play?
Paris, finally, we have the West Indies tour coming up. The players will be going on. They'll have to face a fitness test. The coaching staff, the management, everyone's really clueless at the moment. So we have maybe a month or so until we play international cricket again. What's your take? What I mean, yes, we've spoken about the selection policies and everything, but from the players' point of view, how should they be mentally tough for the West Indies series?
I mean, cricket-wise, it's going to be another tough series. Especially, we know that how well West Indies play in their own home conditions. So that's going to be a tough series with white ball and red ball. But before that, you touched about the fitness test. I think that's a minimal a professional athlete could do. You know, any given time, any given era, you know, everyone went through a fitness test. So if someone fails, I think it's just not good enough to represent Sri Lanka. You got to be tough on there. I mean, that's where mental toughness start. You got to be fit enough to perform to your best by keeping fit. So how do you do that? Is to work hard on your fitness. And if someone cannot get over the fitness marks, we should say marks, the heights or the benchmarks that's been set by the trainer, I don't think anyone should be eligible for selection. So simple as that. You know, if you have to start somewhere, has to be start. Everyone has to go through it and you know, pass it with the expected results, and then you take it from there. So I reckon, as you said, before we embark on the tour, there are lots of things to be done. One main important ingredient for the policy of selection should be fitness. I reckon, I hope that they will definitely give consideration to this and start from there at least and see how we go. I mean, you know, we got so much cricket to play in this year, so you know it's very important that we get some momentum. And we all know that once we get some momentum, we could spring a surprise or two. But to do that, it has to all start from the scratch now.
Of course. So, plenty of vital points were discussed by Russell and Farveez throughout this series. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with ThePapare.com throughout these couple of games. And we hope to hear from both of you soon. Russell will be, hopefully, will be in commentary soon as well. So, thank you very much, Farveez and Russell. Hope to hear from you again very soon.
Cheers, Damith.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Russell. Cheers, guys.
So that's it on ThePapare.com as we bring another test series, a disappointing one, and hopefully we will have plenty of good news coming days. So stay tuned to ThePapare.com, Sri Lanka's #1 sport.
For premium content and exclusive member benefits, subscribe to ThePapare.com today.